Red Cloud Financial Services is your preeminent source for mining industry opportunities. The team provides a unique tailored marketing program dedicated to reaching the right people from its mining-focused global network, giving clients access to industry-leading events and conferences, retail and institutional marketing, plus an in-house growth-driven digital agency. Red Cloud Financial Services has access to some of the mining industry's most notable companies and CEOs. For more information, visit redcloudfs.com.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Digging Deeper. Today, we're awakening a giant. We've got Pascal Hamelin. We're doing this on a special day. Normally it's Wednesday, but we're getting so close to Christmas and the holidays. We were able to squeeze one more company in, and what a one to talk about too. It's in the right place, infrastructure, awakening a giant. You've got lots of properties. I don't want to steal your thunder, but a lot has happened. It's a longer story, but a lot has happened in a very short period of time. We're talking about Abcourt Mine. How are you doing?
Very well, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I know that you've got a number of properties, but you're not a project generator. I mean, you've got, I think, 12 properties in total. Most of them are gold with a zinc. But really, at the end of the day, you've got a mill and you've got Sleeping Giant, which is the core project that you're focusing on. And it holds a lot of promise that people have forgotten about, like sleeping.
Exactly.
Yeah, good.
The mine's been there for 40 years. Over a million meter of drilling, but never a 3D model built. So it was all paper, like polygonal, the old method.
Yes.
So I saw that. I said the best way to get that giant out there in the public is to do some technical work first. Now the softwares are able to handle those type of deposit. It's narrow vein. We identified over 800 veins in that mine.
Yes.
So count your focus on one zone.
Okay.
Zone 30 and zone 20 for 10 years. It was over 10 grams per ton. Now these zones are extending like we see it in our 3D model. So we just did of course, the geo, when you call them, they're not sitting at home waiting for me to call them. So first thing I did when I joined Abcourt, I said, okay, we're going to do a 3D model on this deposit. So I was able to line up geologists, an independent consultant that are familiar with the deposit. They started this summer in July. They got the 3D model done. Like, there's still work to do, but I said, we need to have a snapshot in time. I want to know how much resource I have before Christmas.
That's great. I mean, you've got a ton of data. I mean, it's not for lack of data, and you have to translate that in. And one thing I want to highlight, and I don't pretend to be a geo, is that this area, the Abitibi, is known for those like spidery veins or kind of like roots that can go down for kilometers, and they're usually high grade. And so to hear that you've got this, hasn't been modeled, has kind of been like neglected to some degree. The previous company just honed in on one area and then that was it. Maybe you can tell people what that, like the company before, what happened, because people go, well, why didn't they do some work? Why didn't they do anything?
Well, the deposit was discovered in the 80s. So it was during the flow through era, 87, 88, that's when it suddenly stopped. So there was a gap. Condor acquired the deposit, like the mine. They only focus on two zones, and they left. And then the successor, when they came in, they just squeezed the lemon, but without any geology. No, they were operators that were trying to get quick bang for the buck.
Yeah,
and you gotta do technical work. These deposit, and then they were trying to increase the mill capacity. That mill was never filled. That mill never operated 100% capacity. Okay. So, but it's high grade. Like you don't need 2,000 tons of waste what you need is 600 tons of high grade material.
Yes.
You know?
And
So
this is like 10 grams per ton. Like we're talking, that's
for the Abitibi camp, it's the best grade in the camp. Like around the Calac Fault, it's sold between 5 and 7 grams.
Yep.
Well, Rouyn, okay, it's an eco flagship. They got zinc. They got a byproduct. They're at 4 grams. But the typical quartz vein in the Abitibi is between 5 and 7. We're over 10.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. You want to see this, to feed that mill, and the mill's permitted as well. So this isn't like it's a big wait and see. It's going to take a little work, but everything's permitted, everything's ready to go. And
exactly, the mill's permitted, the tailings facility is permitted. We're on an existing mining lease. The capex to get this restarted is not going to be much. It's going to be rehab. Drift rehab, even the underground infrastructure, a lot of it is in place. Of course, there'll be a little bit of development to access the new zones or to do exploration drilling from underground. But overall, everything is there. So to me, but no one really did the work, they all try to put the cart in front of the horse.
Yes.
But you got to make sure the geology is done. I couldn't believe there was no 3D model of this deposit yet.
That's where, people listening, this is where the opportunity is that sometimes people think, well, it was in past production. It had some great numbers. Great. I think it was 3 million ounces came out of there. Well, it's over. It's done. And people need to realize in mining that might be the case, or that could absolutely not be the case. And this one could be sitting, with what you're finding so far with the data. And hopefully, if you can get this compiled before Christmas, you'll have some targets. We could be sitting on something very exciting in the right region, in the right province, fully permitted and ready to develop.
We have a lot of drill intercept that we need to follow up on. Okay. Even recently, you start zooming in on the 3D model, and then you see those drill intercept with a lot of cuts, high grade cuts, but no follow up drilling. So we're going to be doing in the new year in 2023. It's going to be a lot about drill hole reviewing, and we have all the core. So sometime all you got to do is go back, locate the drill collar, confirm, validate the drill position, like the drill hole position.
Yep.
Re-assay the core, and then you look at, you put the modern QA/QC, and off you go. So. I'm really excited with this deposit.
and you'd poked some holes, so you did some diamond drill results as well in the inside as well, did you not?
Yeah, we did. It's part of the resource update we released last week.
Okay, yeah.
Part of it, but there's more to do now. We have drill intercept that are still orphan out there in our 3D model.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue the geology work. So we're going to continue throughout 2023. And then we're going to add some more drills, on surface and from underground, from both.
Okay. And how deep was some of these here? Because I want to stress, these things can go down for kilometers. So how much room, upside are we talking about here?
The shaft goes down 4,000 feet.
Okay.
But in Quebec, Sigma Mine went down 6,000 feet. La Ronde, they're close to 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
So They're go down at depth, and usually as you go down, the grade doesn't go down; the grade goes up. So
yes.
It's very positive. So to me, we're going to be in there for decades.
This is beautiful. Okay, so and so people, because we have a lot of generalists that watch the show and they try to understand, okay, what's going on here. The more data you get, the more you can hone in on your targets. You seem to be between all the data that you've had to kind of translate, put into the model, into the computer. A lot of people think that's amazing. I can't believe, how is this? How do people not do this? It's just mining
the
software.
That's a good question, Andrew. The software we're not able to handle those type of deposit before. It's only 4 or 5 years. It's been only 4 or 5 years that the softwares are able to handle those type of deposit.
And so
10 years ago, you couldn't do what we're doing today. 10 years ago, you couldn't do it. It was too complex.
Yes. So how is that? When you're hoping to have some of this done before Christmas, you said analyzed and looked at.
Well, we're in the middle of that. Now we're going to go into the waiting for assay. So some of those results will be in the new year.
Okay.
But like we're not talking February, March. We're talking January.
Okay, good. Okay, good. And of course, being Quebec, I mean, you guys can work all year round as well, which is key.
Yeah, exactly. And we have our infrastructures are within not even a kilometer from the paved highway. So
perfect. Yeah. And as far as work, like because sometimes the supply chain issues or there's some employment issues. Are you guys running into any issues like that at all?
No.
Nothing.
Like I like to tell our partners, we're at the top of the food chain. So
good. One of the other things I guess to focus in on is you're going to obviously focus on that project. You have 11 others. Are those going to be just kind of put a little bit of work in, or are you going to partner those off? Or
yeah, it's a good question, Andrew. Like we have, of course, our focus will be on gold first.
Yeah.
So we have the Flordain Discovery Deposit that are 80 kilometers east of the Sleeping Giant Mill.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a resource update there because there's been some drilling done, historical resource from 2008. So we're going to there was drilling done after 2008. Yeah. So we're going to do a resource update on that deposit. So that's going to be done in parallel. Okay. We have a zinc asset 60 kilometers north of Val-d'Or. So the zinc asset, we're going to try to monetize it, either through partnership or a straight sell. But there's something to do with that zinc deposit as well. But I got to go back. Our focus is Sleeping Giant.
Sleeping Giant. And before we kind of wrap up the Sleeping Giant and kind of where the opportunity is, you also have put in a bid for Pershamax.
That's correct.
As well.
That's
okay.
Correct.
So tell me what the strategy is with that, what the thought is with that one.
They have a very interesting deposit right on surface. They did a small resource back in November 2021, but it's a micro cap company. The technical report went unnoticed, but I noticed it. The grade is pretty good. It's over 7 grams for surface deposit.
Yep.
So there was no debt, no costs, like no payables. So you acquire, you do a 5,000 ton bulk sample, you immediately convert that into $2 million in revenue.
And then you can feed that to your mill. Is that the intention?
That's it.
Perfect. And for investors, that's great because you're going to be you have the opportunity to drive revenue, and this is mining, but pretty quickly.
Exactly. And Pershing Many too, their flag deposit, it's not drilled. There's no drilling. It's just on surface. You see on the picture there. Yeah. So the technical report was done with, I think, what does it say there? Like 4,000 meters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah. So, yeah. In these areas, you could put hundreds of thousands of meters. I know, like some companies, you could put a lot of meters in. And you have like 40,000 meters of info already on Sleeping Giant as well, just kind of as far as I remember.
So Pershing Many too, for me, it's you acquire it before it becomes too expensive.
Yes.
So you acquire it now, you put the meter, you put the drilling into it, you increase the resource, and then you get all the benefit.
Yes. Well, I like that kind of forward thinking too. I mean, it's showing that you're optimistic about what you've got over at Sleeping Giant. You have the mill, it's permitted. And that you're also looking at something else that could feed that as another revenue stream. That's got to give, I mean, that's either being extremely optimistic or it should give some cushion to people to think, oh, wow, they really think they're onto something.
Yeah. And the other thing is in Quebec, there's a lot of micro company that has like maybe 1 or 2 little deposit. They cannot fund those projects to drill it. So for us, if we consolidate the camp around the mill, like I'm not going to acquire properties in Ontario or Newfoundland, but yes. If I focus in the Abitibi, there's a lot of micro cap company that, they're just waiting to be picked up.
And I mean, I would not to get too much into macro and all that, but I don't think a lot of people are expecting gold I mean, it can fluctuate, but they're not expecting it to be dropping to below 1,500 by any stretch of the imagination anytime future. So there's an outlook for gold that's very promising. Most of these micro caps and even the older information, they would have been done like the PA's done at very, very low conservative values of gold. And we're certainly well beyond those numbers today as well. So there's a lot of upside potential.
Oh, it is. It is. That's why we made the offer on Pershmex. And after that, we're going to keep watching, keep looking for a bargain out there, because there is.
So maybe walk me through, just to kind of sum it up, because this sleeping giant, I want people to kind of really understand what we're talking about here, because there's so many at this point. What you can see, there's a lot of possible targets that you're obviously very excited about. We're going to find out about them soon. I don't exactly know the time frame, but it's soon. And once you compile that data, it will be then drill, and then advance to a PEA or even pre-fees. We'll see what the numbers looks like. But definitely drilling and advancing the engineering towards putting it production. And it goes without saying, I should have mentioned
production. The thing with production is because all the infrastructures are there. You're not talking years to go from feasibility or pre-fees to commercial production, because the infrastructure are there. The permitting is all in place. All you got to do is build.
Yeah,
like underground drifts and start mining.
I think in this kind of environment, like people, they like to go for the kind of the elephant hunting, huge kind of possible gold situations. Those take years and years and years and years, and they get developed. But this is different because I think a lot of people are eager to look at metals, but two, at gold, because there's value there, and we're in a chaotic time. And if you get to production fairly quickly, that is going to, I think, attract a lot of eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's what the feasibility of the pre-fees will show to the investors, is how quick we can get that mine up and running. And you're not looking at millions, you're not looking at $100 million of investment to get it in production. You're looking at maybe between 15 and 30 million.
And that, I mean, to a lot of people that look and go, well, oh my gosh, look at the environment we're in. I mean, it's going to be tough to raise money. And I'm not saying it's easy to raise money, but it's a bit very different to raise money when you have a feasibility study and you've got the mill. For a bank to even look at it, they go, oh, well, okay, we can look at this. Maybe exactly. Tell us from your point of view, because you're also, I didn't mention this, you're a mining engineer, so you specifically know what you're looking at in there and what it's going to take as far as CapEx too.
Yeah, exactly. And there's, because you got the asset, you're talking with not just equity investors. You're looking also at debt investors, banks. Like we have right now we have a loan with a chartered bank, like I'll say it, RBC.
Okay, yeah.
So when RBC started investing in a gold mine, it's because it starts to get serious.
Absolutely. I mean, I even know, I speak to other big name banks. I know analysts, investment bankers in there that 2 years ago, they're not looking at anything. And they're like, oh no, we're looking at the mining sector now. I mean, they're looking, they're definitely looking.
Yeah. I meant like I was in an event 3 weeks ago. They were all there.
Excellent.
All the Canadian banks.
And we're seeing it in the news as well. We're seeing not only interest from Canada, we had the Germans come over and they were looking at hydrogen as well as minerals, especially in Quebec. And we have the Department of Justice in the US looking for critical metals as well. I mean, right now, people, I think if they're paying attention and they're wondering what they should be looking at, that's a very good sign when you're getting those types of groups who are paying attention.
Yeah. Like I met a group from Dubai. So the interest in Canada, it's a safe jurisdiction. The permitting process might be a little bit longer than other jurisdictions, but it's a known trail. Like it's a known process. It's what the investors are looking for is security. Like they want to have the security that it's going to be well done and a safe jurisdiction, and so we have all the things in our favor in Quebec. Cheap power, like very, very inexpensive hydroelectricity, solid infrastructure, known labor that are very proficient with those type of deposit. So like we got all the cards in our hand.
And there is some urgency. So I mean, you're going to have news, and you're going to be working away very quickly. And that's why I always like to point out too, is someone goes, okay, I'll keep you on my radar, but it's, well, there's going to be news, and there's going to be lots of news coming out.
And January, like, yeah, as soon as we're back, like our geologist is going to take a 2-week off starting tonight.
Yeah.
And like when they're back, they're going to continue logging what were identified already from last week 3D model.
Excellent. Well, this is one that we're going to keep on our radar as well, because with that kind of data and with that kind of backstory, and from what I'm hearing, it's definitely interesting. And we really appreciate you spending the time walking us through this one. This sleeping giant certainly could wake up.
Yeah, oh, it will. We're awakening it.
Excellent. Well, Pat, and I love too, that's one of the things from even seeing other interviews with you. There's definitely not only a confidence, but a like, we're like, take charge. We're charging forward here. Those things are getting done. And that's something, that energy is definitely needed in a sluggish market, but also in mining. Is just like, let's go. Let's get going on this thing. So we wish you all the best, and we're going to keep our eyes open for any news that comes out.
Thank you, Andrew. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Take care.
All right.